Welcome to Subject Soup. The U.S. military is cutting through dense jungle in the Pacific, and in just 1 year, the world will be stunned. But why? What's really happening on this remote island, and how could it change global power dynamics? Stick around, because the truth behind this operation is more shocking than you think. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something wild, literally. Picture this, the U.S. military, machetes in hand, hacking through dense Pacific jungle. It's not a scene from a survival show, it's happening right now, and it's got the world buzzing. Why are they doing this? What's the big deal about some overgrown trees in the middle of nowhere? And what's going to happen in the next 12 months that could leave us all stunned? Buckle up, because we're about to unpack it all: why the U.S. military is clearing jungle in the Pacific, the strategic importance of this spot, how it might flip the balance of power, what the experts are saying, and the jaw-dropping global consequences that could hit us by March 2026. Let's get into it. First things first, why is the U.S. military playing jungle landscaper? Back in 2023, reports started trickling out, like a post on X from Caitlin Johnstone, that the U.S. Air Force was clearing jungles in the Pacific to prep for war with China. Sounds dramatic, right? But here's the deal, this isn't about turning vines into vacation spots. It's about military readiness, and the evidence points to real activity. The U.S. Army, Air Force, and other branches have been ramping up exercises in places like Guam, Tinian, and other Pacific islands, many of which are covered in thick jungle terrain. Take the Joint Pacific Multinational Readiness Center, or JPMRC, exercises like JPMRC 25-01, which happened in late 2024. These drills involved U.S. forces and allies like Australia and Japan training in jungle and island environments. Why? Because the Pacific isn't all sandy beaches, it's rugged, dense, and tough to navigate. Clearing jungle isn't just about aesthetics, it's about building airstrips, staging areas, and logistics hubs. Think back to World War II's island hopping campaign. Jungles were cleared then to secure bases against Japan. Today, the U.S. seems to be dusting off that playbook, but with a modern twist, prepping for a potential showdown with a rising superpower, China. The Pentagon's been tight-lipped about specifics, but satellite imagery and military press releases hint at construction on islands like Tinian, part of the Northern Mariana Islands. Tinian's got history. B-29s took off from there to drop atomic bombs in World War II. Now, the U.S. is reportedly clearing overgrown runways and jungle to make it operational again. Why now? Well, with tensions simmering in the Indo-Pacific, think Taiwan, the South China Sea, this isn't just routine maintenance. It's a signal, the U.S. is getting ready to project power, and fast. Okay, so why does this random jumble matter? Let's zoom out. The Pacific isn't just a big blue puddle, it's a chessboard, and these islands are key pieces. Tinian, Guam, and other spots in the Mariana Islands sit in what's called the second island chain. That's a fancy term for a line of islands stretching from Japan down through the Pacific, acting like a natural barrier between China's coast and the open ocean. Control these, and you control access, military access, shipping lanes, you name it. Guam's already a heavyweight, called the tip of the spear for U.S. power projection. It's closer to Beijing than Hawaii, hosting bombers, subs, and troops. But Tinian? That's the sleeper hit. It's 100 miles northeast of Guam, less crowded, and perfect for dispersing forces. Why disperse? Because China's got missiles, lots of them. Experts at the Stimson Center say the People's Liberation Army has ballistic and cruise missiles that could hammer big bases like Guam in a conflict. Clearing jungle on Tinian means more runways, more options, basically, a plan B if plan A gets blitzed. This fits the Pentagon's new vibe, scatter and survive. The South China Morning Post reported in January 2025 that the U.S. is shifting from big, juicy targets to smaller, spread-out bases across the Pacific. Jungle clearing is step 1, turn overgrown islands into functional outposts. It's not just about offense either. These spots secure supply lines, monitor Chinese naval moves, and keep allies like Japan and the Philippines in the game. Strategically, it's gold, a way to stay in China's backyard without painting a giant bullseye on one spot. Now, let's talk power shifts. The Indo-Pacific is a pressure cooker. China's flexing with military drills near Australia and Vietnam, as the Japan Times noted in March 2025, while the U.S. is doubling down on its presence. Clearing jumble and reactivating bases like Tinian doesn't just add pins to the map, it tilts the scales. Here's how. First, it's a deterrence flex. China's got a massive missile arsenal, think hypersonic glide vehicles and anti-ship missiles, per the Pentagon's 2024 China Military Power Report. But more U.S. bases mean more targets, stretching China's resources thin. It's like playing whack-a-mole with $1 billion budget. If the U.S. can hop between Guam, Tinian, and beyond, it's harder for China to knock out American air power in one go. That keeps the PLA on its toes, maybe even hesitant to push too hard over Taiwan or the South China Sea. Second, it rallies the team. The U.S. isn't soloing this. JPMRC exercises included Japan, Australia, and others. Clearing jumble signals commitment. Hey, allies, we're here to stay. The White House's January 2025 Indo-Pacific update bragged about new defense deals with Papua New Guinea and Fiji. More bases mean tighter coordination, stronger networks, basically a NATO-like for the Pacific. That's a counterweight to China's growing sway, like its port-building spree across the region. But here's the flip side, it could escalate tensions. China's not blind. Voice of America reported in February 2025 that Beijing's testing U.S. responses with SNAP exercises. More U.S. bases might spark more Chinese drills, more ships, more saber rattling. The balance could tip toward confrontation, not stability. It's a high-stakes gamble. Will it check China's ambitions or light the fuse? So, what do the smart folks think? Analysts are all over this like ants at a picnic. General Charles Flynn, head of U.S. Army Pacific, said in 2024 that the Indo-Pacific is the most consequential theater for U.S. security, calling China a threat we must confront. Clearing jumble fits his vision, supporting a networked, multi-domain force. Translation: bases everywhere, ready for anything. Alessio Padalano from King's College London, quoted by Voice of America, sees China's recent drills as a sign of maturity in their military. He predicts more short, sneaky exercises, meaning the U.S. needs those jumble bases to keep up. But not everyone's cheering. The Georgetown Security Studies Review warned in January 2025 that the U.S. Marine Corps' Pacific strategy has flaws. Logistics could crumble under Chinese missile barrages, even with new bases. Clearing jumble won't fix everything if supply lines get cut. Then there's the China Hawks. War on the Rocks December 2024 take on the Pentagon's China report says Beijing's aiming for a world-class military by 2035. Jumble bases are a U.S. counterpunch, stay ahead, or get left behind. But critics like defense priorities argue the U.S. is overreaching. Primacy might drag us into avoidable fights. It's a split. Some see genius, others see overstretch. Who's right? We'll find out soon. Alright, here's the big one. What happens by March 2026? Buckle up, because the next 12 months could be wild. If the U.S. finishes clearing jungle and gets Tinian or other bases online, we might see B-21 stealth bombers or F-35 staging there by year's end. That's a game changer, sudden strike power, right in China's grill. Allies might lean in harder, too. Imagine Japan or Australia co-basing troops there. The Indo-Pacific architecture the White House brags about could solidify, locking China out of key zones. But China won't sit still. The Japan Times says Beijing's already sending pointed warnings with drills. By March 2026, we could see a tit-for-tat, China rushing missile deployments or cozying up to Pacific nations like the Solomon Islands. The Lowy Institute warned in August 2024 that unbridled strategic rivalry risks overwhelming small states. A U.S. buildup might push China to double down, splitting the region into camps. Globally, this could ripple. If tensions spike, trade routes, like the South China Sea's $3 trillion annual flow, might wobble. Oil prices could jump, markets could freak. The Wilson Center's August 2024 report says global South nations are watching. Some might pick sides, others might play both. And if it goes hot? Say, a Taiwan flare-up? Those jumble bases could be ground zero. The world would be shocked either by a U.S. win or a chaotic mess. So, there you have it. The U.S. military's clearing jungle in the Pacific to prep for a stormy future, strategic genius, or risky bet. It's about staying ahead of China, securing key islands, and shaking up the power balance. Experts are split, and the next 12 months could bring anything from a stronger U.S. alliance to a global standoff. What do you think, smart move or powder keg? Drop your thoughts below. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring. This is one story we can't look away from. If you've been enjoying the content and finding it helpful or interesting, I'd love to have you join our community by subscribing to the channel. It's completely free and helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you even more awesome content. No pressure, but your support means the world to me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.